All right, we are back. It is season 3 of Behind the Table. We have a new look, which is very exciting. And I am lucky to be here with the incredible Alyssa Farah Griffin.
Welcome back, Brian. It's great to be here.
It's our premiere day, and premiere days are always, it really does feel like the first day of school.
It really does.
It's and I've got 2 kids. I got that one just started high school, one just started middle school.
Oh,
so there's a lot of first day jitters around my house, but this always feels like new school supplies. We're back.
100%.
We were gone a long time. I know, I read the comments. We were gone a long time, but we're back and we're not going anywhere for a long time now. Let's see. How did you feel about the first show? So we had all 6 at the table, which is sometimes tricky, but I thought was great.
I think we needed to. For how long we were off air and how much there was to cover, it was like, honestly, I feel like you needed assists to unpack everything that had happened. It's funny, though. This has happened to me. I think it always happens on the first day back, but this was the longest break I've had from any job ever. I got nervous as I was walking out. But but you hear the theme song, you hear the audience clapping, and then see your co-host, and you're like, all right, I got this. Like, it's like getting, back on the bicycle or whatever.
Now, I didn't even run through with you guys. Did you see the new Open before it ran, or did you see it?
I did, and I love it.
You like it?
I think
it's good.
Yeah, and it's in the fall vibe on set. I thought was really good.
Really
I'm
cool.
one of those people that, I know this is like terrible to say, I like summer. I love fall. I'm dying.
My wife is like that
for
too.
It.
Like she is desperate for fall.
I love it. I love soup, sweaters, layers, the whole thing. And it's heading into the holidays, which are my favorite. So it's like Halloween, then Thanksgiving, then Christmas. It's just my absolute favorite time of year.
I love football, and that'll lead to
Honestly,
something we're going to talk about.
yes.
But yes, you like football too?
I love football
Okay,
now.
good.
Yeah,
all right, look at you.
I am into it. My husband's gotten me invested.
That's great. But yeah, no, so it definitely felt special. And sometimes the first show back, even from like a 3-day weekend, is kind of
messy. Like we all forgot
messy,
how to do
like,
television.
A little bit. Like sometimes
Totally.
it's stilted but today we just flew through, and people love a day of hot topics.
Yes.
So,
and I also think there was so much to cover, but we were actually like pretty in agreement on what we thought the lead topics were.
Yes, and that doesn't always happen.
And that doesn't always happen. So I think that helped, that everyone had strong opinions, and it was pretty clear what the leads were.
We also debuted the new mug, started the show with it.
I love it. We all look so cute.
I think it's really fun. I'm going to try to draw a version of me on the handle, I think.
No, I liked what you said off air, that you should be under us
underneath
when we're
you,
walking
you're
on you.
walking over me. Okay, maybe we'll do that and auction it off. If we can get the illustrator to just draw me under here as they're all stepping on me, and we'll auction that off at Joy's estate sale that she likes to do.
Oh, actually, that would be a good one.
Yeah, I think so. All right, let's see what we can do. All right, so, and I'm sorry, I should give a shout out because her name is Lauren Keeler. She was in the audience today, and she did a great job. I'm going to go on record, my favorite View mug.
It's my favorite mug, too.
That I've been a part of, and this is my...
And I have old ones I wasn't on in my dressing room, and it's just my favorite in general.
This is the other one I have. There's one where the host changed like a day after we debuted the mug, and we had to switch it out, so that was unfortunate. But this is my 11th season at The View, which is crazy. This is your 4th season at The View.
I know. I kept doing the math because it doesn't sound right, but like I'm not new anymore.
No, you're
like
far
I don't really
from new.
have like an excuse.
No, you're actually like you're in the historic terms now. You've had a lengthy tenure at The View.
Yes, and especially for Republican host and youngest host, I'm heading for the record books
You're
right
doing
now.
Well, so
don't jinx myself.
Hasselbeck's tough. She's a 10.
Oh, that's true. It's hard.
She's a 10.
Yeah.
But I think so. One thing, this is interesting.
And we might be on Mars in 10, like by the time it's my 10th season.
Well,
Who knows?
hopefully we're streaming on Mars. But here's the interesting thing. So this table is in its 4th year, and it's the longest same table that we've had in my tenure as executive producer, and it's the second longest table of all View history of 29 with the same configuration.
That is good trivia.
Isn't that nuts? So the longest one is arguably the best one till now, and it's Whoopi, Joy, Barbara, Sherry Shepherd, and Elizabeth Hasselbeck.
Oh,
and
that's iconic.
That's kind of iconic.
You actually I love my current ladies, but you don't really beat that table.
That's a tough one. Barbara Walters kind of puts you over the edge.
Yeah, it kind of does. But I do agree. You and I've talked about it a lot. Like we all have our heated days and stuff, but it does actually take a lot to make a table work. And I don't think people get that. There's this idea of like, well, just throw 5 women out there and let's see what happens. It's like,
cannot happen.
It doesn't. There's a science to it. There's a chemistry. There's like the intangibles that you don't know.
There
what makes
are
it work.
very smart, very competent, very people with a lot of television experience that have tried to be on the View, and it hasn't gone well.
Yeah.
And it's both people have had the jobs and people have tried out for a day, and it's always chemistry and the alchemy of The View is something so specific, and it really, that's why I always say it's kind of like a sisterhood of people that
of misfits.
Well, you know, it's like you get nothing else in common, but once you've been The View host,
100%,
nobody else understands what that's like.
I do love that meme that it's like it's a show about women who have absolutely nothing in common but are best friends.
That was SNL. Yeah, that was great. All right, tell me about your summer break. We touched on it quickly on the show. It
was actually wonderful. I didn't mean to downplay it. So I mean this when I say this break, because it was a little longer than usually the August break is the longest break I've had from work my entire adult life. I've worked since the day I was out of college, actually worked in college too, to now, and it's the longest break I've had. And I'm still doing CNN in the evenings, but it's only a few-hour commitment. It was like restorative to my soul. I needed time with family. I needed time to focus on just health, wellness, and for me, like, you may not know this about me, being outdoors and in nature is like the best thing for me. I need my toes in the grass. I need to swim in the lake or in the ocean, and it was just so much fun. I was with like 4 generations of Griffins at one point, all in one house. Cool. Then my best friend, her husband, and her 2 kids, one who's my godson, came and spent a few days with us, and it was just like, I needed it, and I made it a point to tune out the news a bit, but I also feel a duty to like keep myself somewhat informed, because not everyone has the ability to be like, I'm taking a break from it. But it was good to not let myself get mad about every single thing, and then kind of save that energy, whether I'm mad or happy about something, for things that really, really matter, and kind of refocus.
Listen, this show is a grind for everybody. We're proud of it, and we love it, but it's hard, especially because you have to live in that news cycle that really chips away at you after a period of time.
Well, I was saying, because we did press after the show to one of the interviewers, is like, people don't realize like the exhausting factors aren't doing the show necessarily live, but there's a day when, you know, each one of us is going to have their day that they're the ones getting attacked on social media. They're the one in the headlines. There's somebody who, you know, slipped and said something they shouldn't have. And it's helpful to have like a sisterhood of we've all been there and we're going to get through it. But it's also, it can be exhausting. So I think just having a little bit to be me, to not put on my makeup, put on my hair, and be out there in public was also like really nice. Put on my hair.
No, definitely. and you know, listen, we're even with a long vacation, we have more episodes than almost any other talk show.
My favorite is like, I would have people come up to me like, I love the dress you wore on The View today, and I'm like, oh yeah,
they're watching repeats.
Yes, watch the repeats.
I appreciate it. Thank you. But no repeats for a long time now. Okay, so here we go. A lot has happened in politics when you were out, and as you say, you unplugged a little. But how do you think both Democrats and Republicans are doing with everything coming out of the Trump White House? Because it has been, I mean, the zone is flooded. It has been nonstop. Google alerts going off every 5 seconds. My phone notifications going off. How do you think they're handling it?
So my hot take that a lot of Republicans will argue with me about is there is one person on the Democratic side doing it right, and it's Governor Gavin Newsom.
Oh, really?
I hate it, but he is absolutely right in what he's doing. I'm very much you've got to rise above, and you've got to like be the kindness you want to see in the world.
What you say.
It is breaking through, and what's happening with there's some really great Democratic talent. J.B. Pritzker we've had on, Wes Moore we've had on, remarkably like talented people who could definitely get there as far as presidential ambitions. But Trump is such a unique and singular force in American politics that you have to meet him with the same energy he's putting out there. I just listened. He was on Pivot. He like guest hosted with Kara for the full 90 minutes. And that alone takes political muscle and strength. She's a tough interviewer. And he can just go. And there's an authenticity, there's a talent, and there's a communication skill that it takes an incredibly seasoned politician to be able to do. However, I also think he's the most vulnerable in terms of Republican attacks. I can talk about the fact that people are fleeing California because of the cost of living. They're going to red states like Texas, Georgia, and Florida. There's plenty of things you could talk about what California is doing wrong in Newsom's under his tenure, which he's going to have to be ready for. But in terms of raw political talent in like showing up every day and matching Trump's energy with energy, he's the one doing it the most.
I mean, he definitely is getting under the skin of Trump supporters. I've seen that for sure. And then the question is he endearing himself to anyone that feels differently? I don't know the answer.
And then I ask myself, I don't know if that matters as much in our elections.
Okay.
I don't think that Trump won because he got a ton of independents and swing voters who weren't going to be with him. I think he turned out a part of the country that wasn't really voting and showing up in elections and convinced them his vision worked. So there's another model that goes against basically decades of political like history and the way that we thought you do things, which is if you get those moderate swing voters, you win, or you find a new voting base and you bring in some new people. To me, that's going to be harder for a Newsom. It's going to have to be young people. And I think where he needs to really, he alluded to this on Pivot, but like he's got to talk about a cost of living initiative that's going to be led by Democrats to make young voters feel like they're not completely being left behind.
Right.
And it's not as simple as sort of the more handout approach of someone like Imam Dani or someone.
Well, I was going to say that's what seems to have resonated from his message.
And I do think I think it worked. And as a mayor, it might, running as a national candidate, pitch something like in the next 5 years, we're building 8 million new affordable homes. First-time home buyers are getting X to be able to spend on their down payment. If you were giving tax holidays to people under, 30 years old, you have to have these like big different ideas. Well, and I feel like that imagination's been
one
missing.
of the things that did seem to resonate with
I just advocated for a little bit of socialism there.
I did. I was going to blow by that.
Just say if you want to win.
Yeah. But President Trump, when he was talking about no taxes on tips and things like that and overtime, it seemed to really resonate.
If you look at Trump's numbers in Nevada, which is very much a swing state, you can literally see where the no tax on tips resonated with voters and got him new voters who hadn't turned out before or swing voters.
Yeah, it's interesting. Another thing that happened over the break that we definitely would have been talking about is what happened with the labor statistics secretary that got removed.
Yeah.
Most recently, new jobs data, this was last Friday, showed a continuing hiring slowdown, which is almost reassuring that they still showed bad numbers, actually, a little bit oddly. But this is the first data since he was prompted to fire the top official in charge of it. What do you make of this?
This, the state of the economy and the glaring signs that it's going to be a very bleak fall and going into the holidays is going to be a tough economic period in this country is the biggest story that's not talked about nearly enough. And I don't know. I'm out of the game of making projections about what's going to hurt and help Donald Trump, but I do think this is the biggest thing that he can't shake off. And there's a reason that he wants to be talking about crime in cities or whatever the focus of the day might be for him. And it's because his tariffs, as many of us predicted, are disastrous. And I said it on the show. I wish I could find the tape. I said, you're not going to feel it immediately when he came out on Liberation Day. It's not going to be next quarter. It was always going to be the fall or winter, because if you think about how companies plan, they have inventory for the next quarter, if not the next 2 quarters. But it's the hiring and it's the essential goods that they need later in the year that they cannot afford and they cannot budget for because of these tariffs. If you heard some of, not to get too technical, but like the earnings calls of major American manufacturers like GM, the very companies Trump was talking about saving and wanting to rebuild, they had a terrible last quarter and they're projecting worse coming up. That's what he can't get away from. When you've got more people out of work looking for jobs than you have jobs available, those are very bad statistics. They're reversible, but they require him to literally reverse his policy around tariffs and give people economic certainty. And I always believe elections are almost always most about the cost of living. And when you have people out of work, when you have people not getting the jobs that they need, and then just the cost of goods and services going up, that hurts people.
Yeah, for the first 6 months of the presidency, he's been blaming Biden's economy for that, but that's going to get harder and harder to do.
It's going to get a lot harder. And I've already predicted he's never going to fire Jerome Powell because he needs someone to blame for the state of the economy. So, like, keep him around. You just can't. I think you do get a little bit of a grace period, but I think we're getting out of this. And I've heard a lot of my friends from the first term, like Mark Short, who is Vice President Pence's chief of staff, we've been warning about this. It's policy. We know how it works. We know why tariffs are essentially a tax on consumers. And we've been saying that this pain is going to come. I hope there's something that reverses it. I don't want any American to have to spend more money at the holidays. But that's what I think is probably the thing that's going to hit him the hardest. And it's going to hurt Republicans who are up for re-election during the midterms.
All right, let's talk about what you really want to talk about. The big news, the biggest news that we didn't get to today. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, they got engaged. Very exciting stuff. Woo! It's one of those moments where everyone will ask you where you were when the news came in. Where were you when it happened?
I was on like a jog with my husband, and my mom texted me, my best friend texted me, Nikki Kane, our social media gal, was like, oh my gosh. My phone was blowing up. And then my husband, almost as quickly as me, who was with me, was like, wait, Taylor Swift got engaged? I was like, I knew you were a convert. You are a Swiftie. I was so excited. I've wanted this for her for a long time. I will admit I was not necessarily sold that Travis Kelce was her end-all be-all. He just felt so different from other men she dated. She's tended to date artists. But then I watched their New Heights podcast
which was
with his brother.
Terrific. It's a good podcast any day, but that was,
It was 2.5 hours, and I was riveted. You couldn't have distracted me with anything. You see how much they love each other, and there's like a mutual respect there that I think you would feel the same way. That is like the core of a good marriage, is somebody who like just admires and respects the hell out of their partner. And you see it with both of them. Like, he admires not just her as an artist or as like a beautiful icon, but he respects her intellect so much. And I thought that like warmed my heart. I loved him by the end of it.
No, it was definitely like a relationship goals kind of
100%.
thing. You're watching that, I was like, wow. All right. Well, this is,
right? He's obsessed. And she loves him. That she has because you definitely see that she's the intellectual in it. And that's no knock at him. But you see how much she respects him as an athlete and as somebody who's disciplined and like. No,
he is again, and I laughed at everybody when they first started dating. All the people, and I think you were among them, were like, "Well, he's not that big a deal. Like, he's not like famous." I'm like, "No, Travis Kelce. If you follow the NFL, he is a Hall of Fame tight end, one of the best ever to do his job."
Fine. Football, schmutball.
I know, but I'm saying I think she respects.
I'm a football fan now.
You are. I love it. Yeah. But I think she respects that he's elite at what he does 100%. In the same way that she is, 100%. And maybe it's better that they don't interact in that way professionally.
I actually totally agree. I think for someone like her, where she's so in a league of her own professionally,
right.
And when you hear her talk, you realize obviously she's a businesswoman. You hear how much she has pride in the fact that she's a businesswoman and how she like goes about planning everything. I think you don't want to be with another artist where you're almost competing in that same space. I think it's a very complimentary relationship.
Right. So instead of a John Mayer or
correct
Jonas or
you're not like,
I'll just keep going.
I'm a better songwriter or whatever. Like,
no.
Yeah.
This is better. Yeah. I think anyway. It's very happy for them.
I'm so excited. Okay, can I make my one prediction?
Let's hear it.
Everyone who's like, it's going to be like the big public wedding and blah blah. No way. They'll release photos. We'll get to see things, but I think it's going to be intimate with the people they love the most. It doesn't mean it won't be star-studded, but this is not going to be something for like everyone's consumption. As much as it feels like Taylor Swift is everywhere and in our lives, she's actually like very guarded with aspects of her personal life and like.
But here's the thing: it's the Kelce side that you have to watch out for. You got the guy that's like going through tables at the Buffalo Bills game.
True.
I mean, Jason, I'm talking about, not Travis. Like, because the engagement felt very Taylor. It felt very like Travis did his homework,
100%.
Knew what he was doing, worked hard at it. The what is it, an old mine cut ring or something?
It's super old timey.
Yeah,
and like
okay,
her,
this is someone who gets her and is trying to do it. But,
it is. It's the liability older brother.
Yeah, who's great.
Who's gonna? I can't wait. Yeah.
But I feel like that's gonna be a scene. So.
I mean, I hope selfishly that there's so much of it for public consumption because I want every detail.
Right.
But I could see it being intimate, maybe outside of the States, and like something that's very much like
on an island that she bought that nobody can get access to. Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Wait, but also October 3rd is also a national holiday.
Mean Girls Day.
It is Mean Girls Day. It is also the Life of a Showgirl Day.
Yes.
We, on top of an engagement, got a new Taylor Swift album coming.
I'm also my daughter's birthday.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. So you better greet her with the album.
Oh, we've discussed. Yes, it's already there.
Someone asked me if I had plans on October 3rd, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to be listening to the Taylor Swift album.
All right. So speaking of engagements, I mean, obviously the big pomp and circumstance around Travis and Taylor's engagement. What was your engagement like?
My husband nailed it. He Travis Kelce'd it. He knew the assignment. And I'm actually surprisingly easy. I didn't have any expectations. I was just so excited to marry Justin. But we were on Lake Winnipesaukee, which is one of my happy places. All the family was in town. It was during COVID, so my mom couldn't be there, but we FaceTimed her once he did. But he took me out on the boat, and he's like, let's just, do a little cocktail cruise before dinner, and then we're going to have dinner with his whole family. Well, we're out there, the boat's kind of in the middle of the lake, and he pretends, I didn't realize at the time that it wasn't working, had broke down. I was like, oh no. He's like, could you go to the back? As if I know how to like jumpstart a Chris Craft or whatever. But I'm like, sure, what do you want me to do back here? And I'm like bending, and then he's behind me with the ring on the back of the boat. So it was magical. Also points for having the ring like in open water like that.
Dangerous.
That's very brave. It was so perfect. And then we had all the family and had a big dinner after. But like it was honestly like one of the most perfect moments of my life.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I was so happy. And it was also like, it was the height of COVID. He found a way to still make it special. And also it felt like everything felt very heavy around me, but it was like a moment of like hope and like new beginnings with us.
What level of surprise was it?
Okay, so Cassidy Hutchinson actually kind of ruined it for me. He told her like a week beforehand, because I never got my nails done before then, and he's like, just like make sure she like gets her nails done, because I know girls like to take pictures. So Cassie's like, you're really gonna want to get your nails done, and she kept saying it, and I was like, she's being so weird, so I kind of put it together. But it could have been, I like the details around when he was going to were still surprising, and I didn't think he was gonna do it on the boat. I thought it'd be later in the weekend.
I did the manicure thing too. I had one of her friends come to town and take her for a manicure.
That's a little more subtle.
Yeah,
you should have been like, Cassie, go get a manicure with her.
That would have been good. That would have been good. I proposed a year and a day from when we first started dating, which is pretty fast. But I thought she'd be expecting it on the year anniversary. So I tried to fake her out, and I took her to dinner at like this cliched proposal place, One If by Land. It's a beautiful restaurant in the city. And then thought like she'd be waiting for it, and literally like 3 people at night got engaged at dinner, but it wasn't even on her radar. She missed it entirely.
Oh, really?
But then she was legitimately
I love that
surprised.
you did a fake out.
I did a fake out. Yeah,
That's
I wanted
smart.
to. Yeah, I sent like some like kind of like half dying roses for the anniversary. I was very disappointing in the anniversary, and then thought I'd knock it out of the park the next day, which I did. So
yeah, I like the romance and when people do it up big.
Yeah, I did it a little bit. I did. All right. Well, that's all the time we have for today. But thank you for joining me today, Alyssa. We are back with episodes of Behind the Table Monday through Thursday. Tomorrow, I'll be back here with Joy and Sunny together, which will be exciting. We're going to try to get everybody in the first week.
Fascinating.
And very exciting. We're going to have Supreme Court Justice
Sotomayor
tomorrow,
yes.
which is
great
fantastic.
booking.
Yeah,
It's very exciting.
We got a lot more coming too. Some I can't talk about yet, but good bookings. All right. That's all the time we have. We'll see you soon.